What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of Married at First Sight, Season 17, Episode 19, Sex, Lies, and Questionable Behavior. So when the episode starts, we have Claire and Emily. Once again, why is Claire on my television screen? Why am I looking at Claire? Claire has not seen her own husband since sometime in 2023. We have not seen Claire and Cameron together since sometime way back in 2023. Why is she still relevant on this show today? If anything, I would have loved to have seen more of Lauren, interacting with some of the people on the show. And I understand that Lauren and what's his name are divorced, but why am I still watching Claire? So Claire and Cameron, I guess they had a discussion about these Married at First Sight checks or these lifetime checks. And they decided, hey, if we hurry up and get a divorce, they're not going to be filming us as much or at all. So the money is going to be kind of funny. So let's just separate and then write it out till decision day so that we can, collect on these lifetime checks. My thing is, why can't the producers make the decision that, we're not going to be featuring y'all anymore because y'all are not together. Y'all's marriage has been deactivated, and this show is called Married at First Sight. And even though y'all are still legally married, y'all are also not living a married life. Y'all are not living as a couple. So there's no reason for us to film either one of you. It just behooves me that I'm still watching Claire when she has been apart from her husband longer than she was ever with him. And I'm still having to be watching her and listening to her talk. And it just doesn't make any sense to me. And they're going to have a decision day, which just boggles my mind because we know that they're going to say no. We know all of them are going to say no, but for sure Cameron and Claire, who haven't lived together since a couple of weeks after their damn honeymoon, or a couple of days after their damn honeymoon. Anyway, let's move on. Becca and Austin. So Becca and Austin, they're at this, pottery type place where they're going to be making something out of clay. And this whole entire scene was extremely depressing. But every time that we see Becca and Austin, it's depressing. So Becca talks about Austin being a double agent. So she talks about how he's one way on camera and he's another way off camera. When they're on camera, that's when they're having all of their deep, meaningful conversations. When the camera crew is not there, I guess Austin goes silent. He goes mute. He really doesn't care to have any kind of conversation with her at all. So Becca questions if Austin even likes her. Why is there even a question mark? He doesn't. He doesn't. If he likes you as a friend, as a human, that's wonderful, but that's not why you're here. You're not here to meet people who like you as a human. You're here to meet a husband who's going to fall deeply in love with you, or you're here to meet a husband who's willing to create a future with you, have a romantic relationship with you. You're here to meet a mate, a husband, a spouse, someone you can have a family with, someone that you're going to be able to grow old with, someone that, you'll have romantic feelings for one another. So Becca, I'm not sure why you're questioning why, does he even like you when you know damn well that he doesn't like you. It doesn't matter if he doesn't like you in that way. He doesn't like you, period. So he convinces her, yes, I still like you because, the cameras are there. So he's always going to say the right thing. He's always going to do the right thing as long as the cameras are there. So then whenever his actions don't match his words, it's not going to make any sense to us because he's going to, fake it for the cameras and not really live up to what he's saying. And Becca's confused and we're all confused and we're trying to figure out why this relationship has yet to progress past the early stages. So Becca actually praises this grown man because I think he talked about how, he's been trying, because as he always does, he's been trying to be better, whatever he was talking about. And Becca actually, I guess to point out how he has improved, she points out that he did not get mad at her when she had suggested leaving the laundry room door open so that it doesn't collect moisture and then moisture leads to mold whenever the machines are running. She actually felt the need to praise him for not getting mad at her for suggesting something like that. That just shows how deep their problems are. For you to be like, I'm so proud of you that you didn't get upset with me when I suggested that we keep the laundry room door open. And I'm like, Becca, do you not hear yourself talking? Do you not hear how bizarre this sounds? Is this really the kind of marriage that you want? That you have to praise him for not getting upset because you wanted a laundry room door open? So then he says to her, well, when you say that, you make me look some kind of way. You make me look like I'm some crazy, irrational, angry person who just, flies off the handle over the simplest things. It doesn't make me look good when you say it like that. When you're like, oh, thank you for not getting mad when I suggested A, B, and C. So this goes into his whole theory of Becca making him look bad on camera. And it's not him trying to control his image. It's the fact that he believes that Becca is painting a very false narrative of him. Now, I have not seen, of course I haven't seen him get upset because he edits himself so much in front of the camera. But whatever goes on behind the scenes, that's another issue. When people are trying to edit themselves so much in front of the camera, and a lot of their conversations are centered around what's going on behind the cameras, it makes it absolutely frustrating as a viewer to listen to these conversations because we can't make heads or tails of what the hell is going on because we are not privy to what they're talking about. So for her to say to him, oh, you didn't get upset whenever, I wanted the laundry door open, suggests that he probably gets upset at other things that are not worth getting upset about. But because he edits himself so much, we don't know if what she's saying is true or not. Just like whenever he says to her, well, it seems like you like passive men. In other words, I think he was trying to imply that Becca's the kind of woman that likes the kind of men that she can just walk all over, that she can just, control them. Men who are just doormats for her. And she got heavily offended when he said that. And she's like, no, I don't like passive men. I don't want you to be passive. So then he's implying that when the cameras are not there, that Becca is some control freak and that she is, overbearing with him. And she is a micromanager, like what he has suggested last week. We don't know because y'all edit yourselves so much in front of the camera. We have no idea what y'all are talking about. The only thing that we see is Becca being really upset or sad about the lack of intimacy and Austin constantly making promises that he's going to do better. That is the only thing that we have seen. I haven't seen Becca being controlling. I haven't seen Austin, being angry or excessively angry. I don't know what they're talking about. So Becca starts, Becca's cold. Okay. She's feeling cold. The room must be whatever. And so she gets up and she grabs his jacket. And when she grabbed his jacket, because they have been working with wet clay, when she grabs his jacket to put on, he says, oh, okay, so you're going to get my jacket dirty. And so then she went back and got her own jacket. And she felt some kind of way. So now Becca's upset because, he felt some kind of way, or he was upset or whatever, bothered that she put her hands that are covered in wet clay, that she was holding his jacket with these dirty hands. And so she's now sad and depressed because she tells him, well, if it was me, I would have given you anything you wanted. I would have let you put on my jacket with your wet clay hands. I'm like, Becca, are you really? I know you can't be upset about this. And y'all, these people are just, it's his, first of all, it's his jacket. Second of all, your jacket is back there as well. Now, it would have been something different if she did not have a jacket at all and his was the only one and she's freezing and she goes to put on his jacket and he has something to say about it. That would have made him look like a damn jerk. But instead, she had her own jacket there and it's his jacket. It's his property. If he doesn't want wet clay, which is going to turn into dry clay on his clothes, what is wrong with that? That might not be the most chivalrous thing. I don't know if people are thinking, well, he's a man, he shouldn't care if she gets his jacket dirty, but it's his jacket. I would not have gotten that upset about it. If I was Becca, it would not have bothered me because you had your own jacket there. Why wouldn't you instinctively grab your own jacket? I don't understand why she didn't get her own jacket. And I can't believe I spent this much time talking about the fact that she took his jacket instead of her own jacket. I was just surprised that she was that dramatic about it. Well, if it was me, I would have let you put on my jacket because I wouldn't have wanted you to freeze to death. So then he says to her something about, well, he didn't feel comfortable. Like he was trying to say, my issue isn't the fact that you got my jacket. My issue is that you got my jacket with dirty hands. And so he says he didn't feel comfortable telling her to wash her hands before she grabbed his jacket. And you know what? I would have been considerate enough to not touch someone else's property with dirty hands. I would have grabbed my own damn jacket. And then for her to get so overly sensitive about it, to me, just didn't make any sense. Maybe I'm looking at it completely wrong. So, after that overly dramatic moment, we see some footage of them talking. And we see some footage of them talking, and I think it's in their apartment. They have the cameras inside the apartment, and they're having a conversation about Austin being one way on camera and being another way off camera. And he keeps on telling her that, you're making, no, that wasn't it. They had the conversation was really about how Becca was portraying him on camera, because he doesn't want her to address certain things or to say certain things about him on camera because it makes him look bad. It puts him in a negative light. And he was trying to tell her, the things that you're saying is really painting a very false picture of me, because I'm not that person that you're describing. For example, when she said that he was being combative. And Becca was like, but that's my reality. That's my truth. That's how I perceived you, and she talks about how she holds a lot back, but now she's at that point, I guess, where she doesn't want to hold anything back. And so she says, you are more concerned about the optics than how I'm feeling. So instead of addressing why I'm calling you combative or why I feel like you're combative, you want to address the fact that I use that word in front of the camera, and you're worried about how you're going to look to the people out there who are watching the show. Which is, to me, I think she had a valid point. I think she had a very valid point, that he's so concerned about whatever she's saying about him on camera, instead of trying to figure out, why is she saying this? Why is she perceiving me this way? Let's have a discussion about that, instead of, well, don't say this, and that about me in front of the camera. But then when they're off camera, she claims that he doesn't want to have these conversations. So she can't save it for off camera moments because he's not even interested in having those kind of conversations with her. So she brings them up on camera, and then he gets upset because he's like, you're making people perceive me in a way that I don't think is the real me. You're making me look a certain kind of way, and I'm not that person. And she's like, but you're that person to me. So can we talk about why I feel like you're this way? So if someone is so concerned about how they are perceived on camera, number one, why are you on a television show? Why are you on a reality television show where they're recording you a lot and where you are encouraged to talk about how you feel about one another? So why are you on a show like this, Austin? If you are so worried about how people perceive you and how you're coming across, why don't you have your own television show where you can present however the hell you want to present yourself? Instead of being on a show where you're going to be subjected to how others perceive you, and they're going to want to talk about how they perceive you because y'all are in a marriage. So if you're so concerned about how you are being edited, and you're concerned about how you are looking on camera, it makes me think that you really do have something to hide. There is something about yourself that you are so worried about people seeing. So you do have something to hide. You are being false or disingenuous in front of the camera because you're so concerned about how you're being perceived. Moving on. Let's talk about Emily and Brennan. And I'm really going to try to get through this without getting too upset and too disrespectful. So Emily and Brennan are at dinner. She's still basking in the glow of post-accident Brennan. Or should I say Nurse Brennan. She's still basking in the glow of Nurse Brennan. She has no idea what's in store for her. So Brennan asks Emily, how does she feel about Decision Day, or has she been thinking about Decision Day? And Emily says that she feels better about their relationship since she's had her accident than how she felt about it before her accident. So then they talk about exactly what is their relationship. And it seems like Brennan is trying to remind her that we are still in the friend zone. Okay, so he's over being Nurse Brennan because she has healed. She's doing a whole lot better. So now he's ready to go back to his original self. So Emily tells him that he never really made it clear that this was a for sure friendship. And I thought he did make it clear. I thought he made it very clear that he was friend zoning her. But maybe I remember things differently. But I thought he had told her, let's go back to being friends and work on our friendship. And I remember doing a review on, I remember when I did my review about that, I questioned, well, if you want to be her friend, then why don't you do the things that friends do with her? Why don't you treat her as a friend? Because he was treating her horribly. So I thought he did make it very clear that they were back to the friendship phase, but I don't know if she didn't remember that or she's playing dumb. I don't know. So he said, well, my actions clearly showed that we were working on our friendship, that we were back in the friend zone. And then she was like, well, I didn't want to read your mind because you told me that you broke up with your ex-girlfriend because she was always reading your mind. So I was just waiting for you to be clear and explicit and concise with what you wanted. So then they argue about whether or not Brennan was putting in the effort, because he was saying that he has tried, he has given this relationship all that he can possibly give it. She doubts that. And so she expressed to him that she didn't think so. So they go back and forth on that. Brennan says that early on, because of the fact that they were spending so much time together, they were with each other 24/7. He says early on, he was able to figure out that this just wasn't going to work. He said that he knew everything that he wanted to know about Emily, including her red flags. And so then Emily asked him, that's interesting. What are my red flags? And he tells her, well, there's a lack of romantic chemistry between us. Well, I don't know. Okay, there's a lack of romantic chemistry between them. And he also says, your negativity. And she was like, excuse me, my negativity. Through it all, Emily, in my personal opinion, has always kept a very positive demeanor. When he was treating her like crap, she was still trying to hold it together. She was still trying to push forward. She was still trying to give him a chance time after time. Especially after an accident where I feel like anybody else would have either gone home. It would have been the end of that. But she still stayed on the show, and she still kept up a very positive attitude even after her accident. I don't understand why he's calling her negative. I don't know if he's just projecting, of how he really is. He's projecting it on her because, if anything, Brennan is the one. He's like one of the most sour, negative people I've ever seen. Or if he's just using this, to just find a reason to make sure that she says no on Decision Day. Because just in case they ask her first on whether or not she wants to stay married, he wants to make sure that he gives her plenty of ammunition to say hell to the no. Because he doesn't want to look bad if she says yes and he ends up saying no. Because he always talks about how he doesn't want to hurt her feelings. So I'm thinking that he's trying to give her plenty of ammunition. He's giving her plenty of reasons to want to say no on Decision Day, so that he doesn't look like the bad guy in case they ask him first. So he tells her, well, I told the experts, that one of my deal breakers was a negative person. And she's still fighting for her life, letting him know, I'm not negative. I'm the most positive person that you'll ever meet. So she goes, well, give me an example of when I've been negative. And he tells her, well, after Michael and Chloe's wedding, you talked about their wedding vows. You were really negative about their wedding vows. You talked about how Michael's vows were so vanilla, and that she expected more from Michael. And he was like, I thought that was extremely negative. He was like, I could not believe that you had said that. what? Okay, we know that Brennan is an idiot. So if that's the best example you could come up with, if that's the best example you could come up with, because we know that he's an idiot. So she was really shocked that he said that. And he says before the accident, she would always talk about all the things that she hated. She would always use the word hate. You know, she hates this, she hates that. So that made him see her as a very negative person. Emily gets so upset that she starts crying. She's crying. She gets up, she leaves the table, she goes to the bathroom. When she's in the bathroom, a producer is back there with her. And even the producer said to her, I can't believe he said that, because Emily is she's positive to a fault. You know, she's so Susie Sunshine to a fault. It's almost as if, girl, don't you see how this guy is treating you? Don't you see what kind of situation you're in? How can you still keep a smile on your face and still give this guy chance after chance when he's being so horrible to you? So the producer was like, yeah, I can't believe he would call you negative. So then she comes back, and I don't remember, but I think when she came back to the table, she asked for another drink, and then Brennan rolled his eyes like, here we go again. She's drinking again. I don't know if that's what she asked or she said something else. I couldn't hear her. So the fact she tells him, the fact that you're calling me negative shows me that you really don't even know who I am, that we've been living together all these weeks and you've never even taken the time to really know who I am for you to call me. Girl, he knows you're not negative. He knows that you're not negative. You're a very positive person, but he can gaslight you into thinking that you're negative, or gaslight you into thinking that he thinks you're negative. He doesn't think you're negative, Em. He's saying these things to get you so upset, to get you so pissed off, so that you will say no on decision day. The next day, Emily tells us that Brennan left. He left the night before. He left. So later on, Claire comes over, and evidently Claire has been withholding some very important information, because she starts off by telling Emily, she says, I didn't know when to tell you this, or I didn't know if it was the right time to tell you this. So that tells me that she's been knowing this for a while. This scene to me was a little bit suspicious. It was a little bit suspicious because the way they edited, there were times when Emily had looked like she had been crying, but Claire had not told her yet, because her eyes, it was just a very weird scene to me. I don't think it was edited correctly. The scene kind of didn't make any sense to me. So anyway, so Claire basically tells Emily that she has been withholding some information because she never knew when it was the right time to tell her. But now, since her and Brennan had this last encounter, I guess Claire feels like, well, now I can go ahead and tell her. So then she says that, she tells Emily that Brennan had mentioned to Cameron that he had wanted to go on a double date with Cameron. And I think she also said that Brennan had been wanting to go on dates with other. Y'all, this whole scene to me was such a weird scene, because did she say that Brennan had been dating other women? Is that what she was implying? Because when she said that Brennan said to Cameron that he wanted to go on a double date, why wouldn't you think he meant a double date with Claire and Cameron, with Claire and Emily? If that's all he said was, yeah, we should go on a double date, maybe he meant with the two wives. Like, I felt like there was something missing in this conversation. Like, did he tell Cameron, let's go on double dates when all this is over and we said no to our wives and we get our divorces and then we're going to start going on double dates? Or did he say, hey, let's go on double dates with these two women that I met at the bar, or let's go find women and go on double dates with them? But for him just to tell Cameron, hey, we should go on a double date, maybe he meant with Claire and Emily. Y'all, it was just so confusing to me. Maybe because I don't care for Claire, and that's why I'm really doubting everything that's coming out of her damn mouth, but it just didn't make any sense. And why was she crying? Because Claire was crying. Like, why are you crying? You haven't seen your husband in Lord knows how long. Why are you crying? I don't know. So then she FaceTimes Brennan and she confronts him about the whole double date thing. And he tells her that he was just joking. He was just joking. Maybe he was meaning other women, because once she confronted him, if he didn't mean other women and he meant Claire and Emily, I think at that moment he would have said, yeah, I asked Cameron if we can go on a double date with you and Claire. Yeah, I asked him that. But he didn't say that. He said, oh, I was just joking. So maybe Claire is right. Maybe the implication is that he was referring to other women. So she asked him, how could you do that when you're so concerned about your image? Well, he didn't do it on camera. He didn't do it on camera, Emily. He never thought that his boy would would go and tell his estranged wife that they're planning on going on double dates. I don't think he saw that. That's why I don't think Claire got this information from Cameron. I think somebody must have told her this. Maybe someone in production. I don't know. I think someone told her this. I really cannot imagine Cameron saying that to Claire, knowing that Claire will say it to Emily, and Emily would definitely bring it up to Brennan. So why would Cameron want to throw Brennan under the bus like that? Maybe he does. I don't know, y'all. So much goes on off camera. All I can do is just speculate and try to put the damn pieces together. And that's why this show is so frustrating. So then he says, he tries to blame the demise of their relationship on Emily because she's such a negative person. So I guess, when he realized he got caught, now he tries to turn it around and say like, well, the only reason why we're in this situation is because you're such a negative person. Later on, all the girls get together. Emily fills Chloe in on what's been going on with the whole double date situation. And we also find out that Brennan had been making Emily delete diary cams because obviously it was going to make him look bad. And Emily talks about how whatever she said on the diary cam was her truth. Okay, but did you delete them or didn't you? Did you do what this man asked you to do, or did you stand up for yourself and tell him to F off, that you said what you said? So Emily tells the girls that Brennan told her everything should be dismissed. Like all of his, bad actions should be completely dismissed because he saved her life. He saved her life. Okay, I guess he did, because I'm assuming when she drove into the tree, nobody else was around. It was just him. So Chloe says, well, that was who he was at that moment. He was your hero at that moment, but that's not his, personality trait. That's not really who he is. Becca then talks about Austin. She talks about how Austin don't pay no damn attention to her. She talks about how when she's changing her clothes, he just keeps on walking, doesn't even glance at her, and that he never tells her that she's pretty or attractive, doesn't give her any kind of compliments at all. Okay. But then she says that she wants to say yes on decision day, and what's really messing them up is the cameras. She believes that because of the cameras being there, Austin cannot be his true, authentic self, and that maybe once the show is over and it's just the two of them without this camera crew following them around everywhere, she's going to see the real Austin. But she also believes that the Austin on camera is the real Austin, and the Austin off camera is not the real him, because she says that she wants to believe that she's got these two realities that she's battling with: on camera Austin, off camera Austin, and she thinks that on camera Austin is the real Austin. Girl, if you have to put this much thought in trying to figure out who the real Austin is, will the real Austin please stand up? If she has to put this much effort into it, this is not the man for you. This is not the kind of relationship that you really want to be in. And why in the hell would off-camera Austin why in the hell would you believe that on-camera Austin is the real one? Off-camera Austin is the real Austin, because that's when he's the most relaxed. That's your real Austin, the one who don't give you a second glance when you're naked, the one who doesn't give you compliments, the one who doesn't want to have any type of conversations with you. That's the real Austin, sweetheart. He's putting it on for the gram when the crew is there. He's just he's just trying to present his best self whenever the cameras are there. Becca, I'm really concerned about you, Becca. I'm very concerned about you now and how you rationalize this man's bad behavior. She says that he is a good person with good intentions, and this process was really hard for him. So now she's beginning to sympathize, and she's beginning to justify his horrible actions. She says that he gave it his all, and she's lifted him up, and she can't wait for all of this to be easier for him. I have no idea what she's talking about. When she meets up with her friend later on, she's talking to her friend about all that she's been going through. And her friend, in so many words, was basically saying, Becca, this just isn't for you. This is not for you. You have been miserable, depressed. You've completely changed. You're walking around, looking like, you're down in the dumps. Guy is just not for you. And her friend even said, if I was telling you the things that you're telling me about some guy, you would tell me to leave him. So moving on from there, we find out that Austin left. And before their friend, she says that before she went out to go see her friend, everything was fine between them. When she came back from seeing her friend, and he had also went to go see his homeboy, and when he came back from seeing his homeboy, she said that the mood completely shifted between them, and he ended up leaving. And she said that she still loves him and that she still has this crush on him. I just don't see how. Maybe when you're in it, you don't realize it. I just don't see how you can be with someone and they treat you the way they treat you. They ignore you. They demean you, and you can still have these positive feelings about them. I don't see how. I don't see how that happens. And him leaving and Brennan leaving, aren't they supposed to leave anyway? Because it's the day before decision day, and the day before decision day, they always separate them. So it wasn't like they left because of the relationship. They left because they were supposed to leave, right? Anyway, moving on to Michael and Chloe. Michael and Chloe are doing just fine. They are having the time of their lives together. So when we see Michael and Chloe, Dr. Pia comes over, and Dr. Pia wants to know about how are things going in the intimacy department. They say that things are moving forward rapidly. Okay, then they show us the damn clips, honey. So we see the clips of their home camera, and we see one clip where they were sitting on the couch watching television, and your boy Michael is like all laid back on the couch, completely relaxed, and Chloe is sitting down next to him, and she's kind of like leaning on him. Next thing you know, she is slipping her hand inside of his pants. Then another clip that they show us, they're on the couch, and they have blurred all of her body. So I'm assuming that she was, down to her skivvies, or she was completely naked. And Lord knows what the hell was going on, but I want to know, why the hell was the dog there? This is an intimate moment between y'all. Why is the dog there on the couch with y'all? That was just really crazy to me. So Dr. Pia gives them an assignment to go to an adult toy store, get a couple of items to spice things up even more. They don't need any more spicing up. They are doing just fine in that department. If I was Dr. Pia, my assignment to them would have been keep up the good work. So there is definitely chemistry between them, and I can see why Chloe is feeling that chemistry with Michael. For some reason, I definitely see Michael as, I don't know. I see it. I see what she sees. Okay. I see what she sees in him, and I understand why there's chemistry between them. There's just something about Michael, and it's so, it's not forced. Whatever he's exuding, it's not even like forced, because he's just so himself, and he's so relaxed and comfortable with who he is. It's not even like he's trying to put on or trying to force it. He is who he is. And it's just, to me, it's very attractive. Y'all, that is my review of Married at First Sight. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video. If you like this content, subscribe to my channel, and I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.